instead, cause it's my day. It's my season. I'm a star with my own attitude. I'll express my love and gratitude. Man, I heard this jam. It's Canton Jones. I don't own this music, but man, this Canton Jones, I had to hear it. Yeah, good day. Good year. All right. Couldn't help it, man. I started hearing that song there. Just new day, new year, new beginning. Welcome to the this is Dr. Joe Blake here with the Actionable Financial Literacy Center. And it's a new day, new year, new beginning. And I'm a Raven fan. Couldn't help myself. Gotta advertise that. Bring it out. Let everybody know. Hey, it's wonderful today, and welcome you this morning to this morning's broadcast. And I tell you, last year was good. This year is even better. We get to hit the reset button because it's the first of the year, and we're here. We are here. Welcome everybody. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season, and you're ready to refresh and hit the restart button again for a new year. Got some great information I want to share with you today. Let you know what we have set up for our new year, and we'll get things started, get things going. So first of all, what I want to do is let you know what we have planned again for this coming year, and then we'll share with you the lesson that we have for you today. So first of all, let me go ahead and share what we have. This is what the plan set forward for the coming year, and this also comes from my the part of what I'm sharing from my book. So the book is going to be launched. The launch was pushed back to March of this year, but it's the Building Financial Legacy. It's the title from the book, Joseph, Building Financial Legacy. But for this whole year, we're going to be talking about legacy, and it's what we're leaving behind, but not necessarily you're not gone yet. You're actually building your legacy now. What you're going to give for what you're going to leave for others, not just others, but not just a family, but people that you influence as well, and how you build that, you're leaving that legacy now. It's a living legacy that you're actually leaving, not a legacy that you had to be gone to leave it. It's a legacy that you build now. This is a living legacy that you're leaving for others. So the first quarter of the year, we're going to be talking about reflecting on your legacy. The second quarter is building a family legacy, a family history from that legacy. If you haven't done so yet, but I've done a 23andMe review, look back at my history and seen some things, and there's some quite a few surprising things that came from out my 23andMe review. And some of you have done some things as well. But when we get to the family history side there, I'll share some things through the second quarter. Third quarter, we're going to walk down memory lane. Memory lane is more or less like life's journey through our careers, through our interaction with other people, and how that influence worked. And then in the fourth quarter, we're going to talk about some words of wisdom, the things that we learned from life's journey, the things we gain from life's journey, and how and mostly, the last quarter of the year, that's when the holiday season comes along, and it's how we've been able to grow from those things and be thankful for those time frames. And I always, my mom's birthday is around the end of the year. My mom's in heaven, but I think about all the times that all the things that my mom gave me, and how my mom was a great influence in my life, and it's just such a pleasure to think about the lessons that I learned from her, the funny stories that I had from her, and how it just really was uh, impactful to have a mother like her in my life, and grow from the things that she helped me grow from. So it's wonderful to have family members in your life that like that. Not only her, my uncles are which is my mom's brothers. Those guys were a trip. So all those things help and help you grow to a certain degree, certain level that makes life enjoyable. And the lessons you learn from them. My dad is still there. So I still growing and learning from interactions and non-interactions with my dad as well. So it's always a pleasure, always a growing thing that you get from your family that helps you grow as an individual. And legacy is when you're creating it not only for yourself but also your loved ones as well. So that's what this year is going to be about. All about that legacy, creating that legacy, a living legacy, because we're still here. So it's a living legacy that we're creating, and and it's being intentional about what you're creating, knowing what you're doing, thinking about what you're doing, and leaving it, and creating that legacy now. So when you're gone, I mean, it's even more so impactful because you being intent in the matter. You're being effective in what you're doing. You knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it, and that's not being haphazard with it. All right, so let's go with the lesson in hand we have for today. So here we are. Start out and let's see it. So that's the book that's there. I mean, get a little background music here for us. I like to have a little ambiance in the back. So this is a title of the new book, and Building Current Clips. And so I'm going from literacy to legacy. Literacy is getting the information in, and legacy is creating it for the literacy lasts for a lifetime. Legacy lasts for generations. So literacy lasts for a lifetime. Legacy lasts for generations. Lifetime and then generations. All right. All right. So here we are. Let me get this in order for us here. Okay. Lesson one. Start out with this is a new look at our business our model again. This is the actual decision model. So again, the decision model, the new insight to the decision model is the financial wisdom. So we initially started out with financial knowledge. Knowledge now has transformed into wisdom, and wisdom is the correct application of knowledge. So the knowledge is the input that comes in, and the information that comes in from where as you gain it. But once you get that knowledge, it's the correct application of it is when you have wisdom. So the wisdom comes in, and you have that wisdom, and then you still have to have those main elements: stewardship, money basics, investing, and then borrowing, and then protecting. And you have those elements that helps you change your behaviors. And as you change those behaviors, the ideal situation after that is to be able to recreate that outside of where we learned it. So the recreation comes in outside of after you learned all the information to be able to recreate it. You still want to make sure you recreate all of it on the inside. You want to make sure you look at things on a quarterly, semi-annual, annual basis to make sure you're correcting and detecting the errors in your thinking. That is still a thing you want to make sure you do. If you're not able to correct and detect the errors in your thinking, it's not going to help you. Not going to work. You got to make sure you're still correcting to detect those errors in your thinking and your way of being, because you want to make sure you're correcting. You make sure you want to create a new behavior, new way of being, a new way of thinking. Because the way you think and you act, you got to be able to change that. Now, also, we still have the behavior model. And with the behavior model, you want to look at what economic actions are you producing? Are you producing those right actions? Are those actions having the intended effects, producing your intended actions producing the right financial effects? Are those results monetarily flawed? You want to make sure if you're looking at those first two questions. Is anything in those results monetarily flawed? You want to also look and see if there's any conflict in what you're looking at. Anything that may be off track in what you're looking at. And then the last thing, again, you want to look and see if you can recreate what you've done in a larger context within your family, within your community as a whole. So you take that shopping cart and you go into each stage of the action model. You're looking at it in your economic stewardship. Are you producing the right actions? Is it creating the intended effect? Are you making the right results? Can you is anything flawed about that? Can you recreate all those learning aspects of it? So you're looking at each stage of the action model, and you're looking at those behavior rewards, and if you can recreate all those things, you take that shopping cart and go through each stage of the model as well. Again, and your main thing, you're looking at correcting and detecting the errors in your thinking. All right. So for today's lesson, we're looking at defining our model, looking at mindset, looking at the knowledge plans, looking at the foundations of wealth. How do we build that foundation of wealth in our thinking and our mind? How do we do that? What are we looking at? How do we make that happen? What causes us to think the whole process through? Now, we may not be able to get through all the things today. We'll end up finishing it up next week as well, because there's eight main points that we're going to go through, and I don't want to fly past any of it. So we're going to make sure we go through it. So these are the points that we're going to be looking through. All right, the first one is a video. So let's listen to this video.
Chart I saw recently that I can't get out of my head. A Harvard business professor and economist asked more than 5,000 Americans how they thought wealth was distributed in the United States. This is what they said they thought it was. Dividing the country into 5 rough groups of the top, bottom, and middle 20% groups, they asked people how they thought the wealth in this country was divided. Then he asked them what they thought was the ideal distribution. And 92%, that's at least 9 out of 10 of them, said it should be more like this. In other words, more equitable than they think it is. Now, that fact is telling, admittedly, the notion that most Americans know that the system is already skewed unfairly. But what's most interesting to me is the reality compared to our perception. The ideal is as far removed from our perception of reality as the actual distribution is from what we think exists in this country. So ignore the ideal for a moment. Here's what we think it is again. And here is the actual distribution, shockingly skewed. Not only do the bottom 20% and the next 20%, the bottom 40% of Americans barely have any of the wealth. I mean, it's hard to even see them on the chart. But the top 1% has more of the country's wealth than 9 out of 10 Americans believe the entire top 20% should have. Mind-blowing. But let's look at it another way, because I find this chart kind of difficult to wrap my head around. Instead, let's reduce the 311 million Americans to just a representative 100 people. Make it simple. Here they are: teachers, coaches, firefighters, construction workers, engineers, doctors, lawyers, some investment bankers, a CEO, maybe a celebrity or two. Now let's line them up according to their wealth. Poorest people on the left, wealthiest on the right, just a steady row of folks based on their net worth. We'll color code them like we did before based on which 20% quintile they fall into. Now let's reduce the total wealth of the United States, which was roughly $54 trillion in 2009, to this symbolic pile of cash. And let's distribute it among our 100 Americans. Well, here's socialism, all the wealth of the country distributed equally. We all know that won't work. We need to encourage people to work and work hard to achieve that good old American dream and keep our country moving forward. So here's that ideal we asked everyone about. Something like this curve. This isn't too bad. We've got some incentive, as the wealthiest folks are now about 10 to 20 times better off than the poorest Americans. But hey, even the poor folks aren't actually poor, since the poverty line has stayed almost entirely off the chart. We have a super healthy middle class with a smooth transition into wealth. And yes, Republicans and Democrats alike chose this curve. 9 out of 10 people, 92%, said this was a nice, ideal distribution of America's wealth. But let's move on. This is what people think America's wealth distribution actually looks like. Not as equitable, clearly, but for me, Even this still looks pretty great. Yes, the poorest 20 to 30% are starting to suffer quite a lot compared to the ideal, and the middle class is certainly struggling more than they were, while the rich and wealthy are making roughly 100 times that of the poorest Americans and about 10 times that of the still healthy middle class. Sadly, this isn't even close to the reality. Here is the actual distribution of wealth in America. The poorest Americans don't even register. They're down to pocket change. And the middle class is barely distinguishable from the poor. In fact, even the rich between the top 10 and 20 percentile are worse off. Only the top 10% are better off. And how much better off? So much better off that the top 2 to 5% are actually off the chart at this scale. And the top 1%, this guy, well, his stack of money stretches 10 times higher than we can show. Here's his stack of cash, restacked, all by itself. This is the top 1% we've been hearing so much about. So much green in his pockets that I have to give him a whole new column of his own because he won't fit on my chart. 1% of America has 40% of all the nation's wealth. The bottom 80%, 8 out of every 10 people, or 80 out of these 100, only has 7% between them. And this has only gotten worse in the last 20 to 30 years. While the richest 1% take home almost a quarter of the national income today, in 1976, they took home only 9%, meaning their share of income has nearly tripled in the last 30 years. The top 1% own half the country's stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The bottom 50% of Americans own only 0.5% of these investments, which means they aren't investing. They're just scraping by. I'm sure many of these wealthy people have worked very hard for their money. But do you really believe that the CEO is working 380 times harder than his average employee? Not his lowest paid employee, not the janitor, but the average earner in his company. The average worker needs to work more than a month to earn what the CEO makes in 1 hour. We certainly don't have to go all the way to socialism to find something that is fair for hardworking Americans. We don't even have to achieve what most of us consider might be ideal. All we need to do is wake up and realize that the reality in this country is not at all what we think it is.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So the purpose of that right there is for us to wake up to see that a lot of folks are may not be where they think they are financially, and has to have the understanding that we need to do something, not talk about it, not think about it, but do something about it. So, what does wealth mean to you? How do you contribute to building your financial literacy, building your wealth? Um, and now wealth does go beyond just money. It goes beyond the assets, but it's the relationship and the knowledge that you have, and then using that knowledge that makes the biggest difference. Now you see how the wealthiest wealthy folks, they got more money than those that don't have. So if you don't have anything set aside, and you've been working 50, 60 years of your life, and you have no money set aside, you know something's wrong with that. That means you got to do, you should have done something 20, 30 years ago. But 20, 30 years, you can't make up for that, but you got to do something now. So you can't be playing around. You got to do something now and set something aside. If you don't do something now, there's going to be no tomorrow. You're going to be working for the rest of your life. You're going to be 80 years old and still hustling. And I mean, I wouldn't want to do that. I don't want you to do that. So the thing is, you got to do something now. You got to do something now, set something aside. So your money works harder for you than you work hard for it. So that's the main thing. So define your terms, define what you're going to do, what you're going to start with, and then stick to it. You want to build that financial legacy that creates a lasting impact that goes beyond your lifetime. That sets something, because the wealthy do it all the time. They set it up for themselves, but they also set it for their legacy as well. Now, those that are going to benefit from your legacy could be for you. It may not be for money, but it'd be knowledge and wisdom and understanding, so they won't have to go through the same thing that you've gone through. My kids, then my thing is that I giving them the knowledge. They're gonna have there's gonna be 3 books. There's literacy, legacy, and then the third one is coming out. They get the knowledge. Now I'll end up giving them cash too. They need to read my books. They need to read that information and gain knowledge and wisdom from it, so they can exercise for themselves as well. Because daddy's giving them the knowledge, daddy's giving them a little bit of cash. At the same time, you need to take heed of what's being shared so you can take advantage of it and leave that legacy for yourself as well. That's the purpose of all this. So that's the first point. Define your terms. Define what you're going to do. Make a decision that you're going to knock it out of the park and do something for your family. All right. Second point. All right. Have your mind on your money and the money on the mind. That was in a rap song years ago, but it was something that okay, that stuck in the minds well, it stuck in my mind because that was like I said, it was a rap song, but it was have the thoughts there. Have one critical foundation of wealth that cultivates the right mind. One thing that stays there that helps you understand the meaning of it. And as I mentioned before, money, like this is a little cash right here. Money is just the tool. It's just the tool. It helps because money is just used as an exchange to get things. But it's you use money to get what you need to do, to get the things that you have. So you got to be able to create the wealth. How are you going to create the wealth? Create the wealth. Thoughts, ideas, means of creating that wealth. So you can understand that. You got to have a wealth building mindset and understand the value of what do you call delayed gratification. It takes time to build wealth. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in one day, one setting. Wealth is built over time. Legacy is built over time. So the quick fix for something, no, that doesn't happen. It takes a little bit of time to build that wealth. And when you know it takes time, you have to have that patience. It can happen quick, but if you prepare for the worst and hope for the best, you're preparing for it to happen. You steady on the grind, steady clicking, steady doing what you need to do, and then as you plan for it, God add his, like you do what you can't do to the natural, and God add his super to it, to the supernatural, and then it'll happen faster. But you got to have a plan of what you're going to do, and then you head forward, and it starts to happen. So you have to have a positive attitude towards money, and then the impact on your journey happens when you have that positive aspect for it. You're positively impacting what you do. You're going forward to it. And then as you start to go towards your goal, God sees that he knows that you know what you need and you know what you want, and he makes it happen for you. He knows that. You understand that money is just a tool. This is a byproduct of you doing what you've been called to do. You have your plan written out and you're heading towards your plan. You're heading down that road towards that journey towards success. And he said, okay, this is one of my kids. I know what he's going in that direction. I know what he's going for. God makes a way for you. He opens the window. He opens the door. He gives you a referral, gives you a client, and it gets you down in that direction because you have a positive attitude towards your way of being, and you're making it happen. But money is just a tool. It's not the only way. Money is just a tool to get you where you need. And I mentioned before that money is dependent on the society that you live in. This is all different types of money. This is a Cambodian dollar. This is a Korean won. This is what is this? This is from Japan. This is right here is from Zimbabwe. This is from Thailand. That's from Thailand. And this is American dollar. This is euro. Money is what that society says money is. So money, that society says what it is. But what you create, like this is a chair, you sitting in the chair yourself. Those are different types of chairs. You can take that chair and go to any one of these countries and sell that chair, because it's the thought and the ideas that you have that makes the money. The thought and ideas. You can go to any one of the countries, sell a chair, and make that money in that country, because the thought and ideas that you create. That's help you. That's how you're able to create the wealth from the thought and the ideas. Okay, that's truth. All right. So the second segment is keep your money. Keep your mind on your money and money on your mind. All right. The next one, segment 3. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So you got to look at continuous improvement. It's better than delayed perfection. Sometimes people wait till I got to get this so right. I got to get this. I got to get this perfectly in order. I got to get this. Got to get that. You have once you continue to improve over time, and you move towards perfection. But the only person that's perfect was Jesus, and it's gonna take us forever. So, but you continue to improve to get yourself better. Education is a powerful tool for wealth creation. Listening to what we have to share here helps you get towards that way. If you go to school, go to college, go to a trade school or something like that, that helps you get towards that area of perfection as well. But continuous improvement is better, because you continue to make yourself, you're sharpening your tool. The Bible has the scripture is that iron sharpened iron, iron sharpened iron. One man continent sharpens the continents of another man. You sharpen yourselves, sharpen together when you're around other sharp folks. Get around some other sharp people. You hang out with some sharp, and sharp could be, it don't have to be, well, if you hang around some folks that have education, that helps. But if you don't have to have sharp, some folks that have education ain't sharp at all. Some of them is like dull as they're dull. But you hang around other sharp folks got some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of what they're doing. But when you continuously learn, it's crucial. You stay informed. You understand what's happening in the market. You stay in your industry. Stay around sharp folks. Go to seminars and things like that. Attend webinars, and you're staying around people who are in the know about what's happening in your industry. You're staying in the know about what's going on. Last thing here is you're able to make informed decisions when you're in the know. You know what's happening in the changing landscape of the financial markets, changing landscapes financially in your industry. All those things help you understand and know what's going on in your industry, and it makes a big difference when you're in the know. It makes a big difference when you're in the know and you understand what's happening in your industry. So those are 3 important things. I told you there were 8, but there's only 3 that we got to today. So I wanted to end there because I don't want to go over the time we have here, and I wanted to be able to share that much. But those are 3 points. I told you there were 8, so we still have 5 more to cover. So next week we'll continue with the lesson on financial freedom, the foundation of wealth for your business. So again, this has been Dr. Joe Blake with the Actionable Financial Literacy channel here, and you guys have a great and prosperous day. Until next week, see you again soon. Oh, make sure you like and subscribe this video, share it with your friends so we can get some more folks to come in and listen to what we have to do. And again, this is going to be turned into a paid channel soon. It's going to be $25 a month. So you share now because it's going to cost a little later. Okay, got to be able to support what's going on. All righty, everybody have a good day.